Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. In the Bigfoot world, there's two sides you can take, the paranormal side or the flesh and blood side. Maybe there's other options out there, I don't really know, but one of the biggest arguments is Bigfoot capable of, supernatural or paranormal feats, the main one being cloaking or being able to disappear into thin air. It's something I wonder about a lot. It's like, why aren't people finding Bigfoot, why has it been so hard? It almost seems as if it can move through the landscape like a ghost. It can appear and disappear, in thin air. And some people say, like, maybe it's just so well adapted to its environment. It's just so good at moving around in nature that it gives the appearance of it being supernatural. It's not actually disappearing. It's not actually cloaking or doing any of these things. It's so good at camouflage and concealment that it is, almost like a ghost. It's an illusion. And then oddly enough, you hear reports of people actually seeing it disappear, or you see weird pictures of almost like a shimmering something standing in the woods or moving through the woods. You see stuff like that every now and then. I am honestly open to everything. I have always been a follower of the flesh and blood, theory. Like, that's the main thing. When I think of Bigfoot, I think of Patty, I think of the Patterson footage, I think of that creature, which is a visible, living, breathing thing on camera. But then why all this talk about the cloaking and it being able to disappear? I know it's a creature that's incredibly hard to find, and saying that it can do that is almost like a really lame excuse as to why you can't find one. But, I've always thought that what if, like, it'd be interesting if Bigfoot could somehow, phase in and out of this reality, We know certain things are visible or audible at, like, certain frequencies. Everything exists in this reality at a certain vibration, a certain frequency. And you can have special cameras that are developed to see other spectrums of light that the human eye can't see, that look visually, like, stunning when you see pictures taken on these cameras. Can a creature in nature change its frequency or its vibration, or whatever you want to call it, to shift out of this reality? It's something I think about when I think of, quantum physics and stuff like that. I in parallel worlds and parallel realities, I think of this kind of stuff. Can something appear and disappear at will by having the ability to consciously, like, shift its frequency or vibration? Or maybe subconsciously, maybe it just exists in between this reality and another reality, right on the fence, and is sometimes here and sometimes not here. We try to come up with theories as to why trackways end all of a sudden, why you'll find a few tracks, why they just seem to vanish. This, like, idea that they can shift frequencies and disappear is, I think it's a reasonable theory. Like, who knows? There's animals in nature already that can use, they utilize vibrations and frequencies to, exist. Like bats use, like, a form of echolocation to get around and to eat, basically, to find their food. And, some animals use frequencies that humans can't hear. Like elephants talk to each other and we can't hear it. And all kinds of animals can hear stuff that we can't hear. And I'm sure there's things out there that can see things that we can't see. I think flying squirrels can see in ultraviolet light. I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me on it. But I believe that they can see in a different light spectrum than what we can. And then there's a whole bunch of animals out there in the animal kingdom that are just very good at camouflage. They have natural camouflage. Anything from, like, a leopard in Africa that have, like, really intricate spots and stuff on it that help it hide. It's highly effective camouflage. There's things like that, like the leopard, and then there's creatures that take it to the extreme, like cuttlefish, or there's a specific type of octopus that can actually mimic or make itself look like specific animals that also exist in its environment. There's, like, a list of animals that can actually replicate, and it can change not only the color of its skin, but also its texture, which is incredible. There are animals out there in nature that are capable of amazing things just by nature, just by how it evolved through time, like to be able to, survive in a world full of predators and things out there trying to kill it. So, there are animals out there that can do this crazy stuff, that are really good at hiding and really good at disappearing, but they're not actually disappearing. They're not actually vanishing from this reality. Is there something out there that can shift its vibration or its frequency to become, I guess, invisible to the human eye, or to actually be out of this reality? Is there anything out there that can do that? I wonder if Sasquatch can do something like that. I'm not saying I believe this stuff. This is just ideas I'm throwing out there, right? I've always, like I said, been into the flesh and blood thing. It's the most plausible, likely scenario. And, something physical is leaving tracks out there. But is it physical full-time or just part-time? That's what I'm wondering. That's what I would like to explore. And, this isn't a video about the argument really between what is what. And, there's conflict in the Bigfoot community between people who are flesh and blood believers and like paranormal, supernatural believers. I use the words paranormal and supernatural just very loosely. If it's something that like can actually do something inside of itself to shift out of this reality, I don't think that's supernatural. I don't think, alternate realities and parallel worlds are supernatural. That's stuff that's actually kind of being like researched very like thoroughly by actual scientists. So I don't see that really as paranormal in the sense that, maybe we used to back 20 years ago or so. Those ideas were more out there, but now they're like, yeah, there's gotta be, parallel realities and alternate realities, and, it's something that is not, I guess, considered to be that unusual of an idea now. It's good that we have people researching Bigfoot in all these different ways. Like, we have the people looking for the flesh and blood creature specifically. We have people that are super into like the, I guess, supernatural side of the subject. And it's not good that we, argue with each other about that. It's good that we have all the bases covered. Instead of having conflict in that sense, we should have, we should be thankful that there's people covering all the bases. It's good. Oh yeah, you're going to go out there, you're going to, use these different investigative techniques to look for a supernatural type creature. Maybe you'll bring like paranormal research tools out into the woods. I've seen people do that. They'll bring like ghost hunting tools out into the woods, which is great. Like, try everything at this point. You guys cover that part of the subject, and then the flesh and blood people, they're out, using more practical approaches and more, I guess, old school approaches to Bigfoot research. That's good that they're doing that, and we have all our bases covered, and then at the end of the day we can come together and share information. And you just don't close yourself off to the possibilities, because anything is possible. We are looking for a Bigfoot creature, it's already pretty crazy, so what's the harm in just remaining open-minded to the idea that it can, use frequencies and vibrations and change them and disappear. I don't mean it's not cloaking. I don't like the word cloaking. Like, it makes you think of the Predator or something like that. Let's just keep our bases covered and be friendly about it, and be thankful that other groups are investigating Bigfoot in other ways. There doesn't need to be conflict. It's we're having all of our bases covered, which is great, which is what we need to do. And while you're out in the field looking for a flesh and blood creature, be open to the idea that it might not be that. It might be capable of more than what you believe. Just be open-minded. That's all I wanted to say in this video, is just be open-minded, really, because this creature could be capable of things that you might not believe or have ever even thought of to be possible. That's all I have for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We'll see you next time on Mountain Beast Mysteries.